If you like this podcast, go to the Mr. Bean patron website and make a donation. The link will be in the description.
Alright, so today's Tuesday, October 6th, second to the last day of Summer Pride for the high school kids. Last day of Summer Pride for the middle school kids. How do you go into planning your training schedule for Summer Pride, and what are you looking for improvements?
So, Coach White always comes up with a schedule, how many days we talk about, how many days, what weeks, what we want to do, and then I just break it up because we do have that dead week in the middle of July, which is a thing that we need to make sure our athletes are rested. So I break it into four week blocks. So there's 4 weeks in June and 4 weeks in July, and then we go into our test week. This is what we're doing this week is our test week, getting our squat, our bench, maxes, our 40s, and our flying 10s, and our power cleans. So I just kind of look at that and break up the days to make sure that, we're getting everything we need in. So it's a 4 week, take a break. And so basically it's, 2 blocks in the summer. I'll look at it that way. It's not a full summer long. Like we have progression in June that I want to hit. And then we have a progression in July that we haven't hit. We did basically 2 separate. We put a lot of power and mass and straight strength in June. And then in July, it was talking about some durability and trying to get something ready for the season. So we were season ready starting in July.
What's your philosophy on 1 rep max, 3 rep max? What's your philosophy on that?
I'm not a big 1 rep max guy because there's so many different variables that go into that. Did they get enough sleep? Are they hydrated the night before? So the 1 rep max, they has to have all these variables perfect to get the best they can do. Right. Because a lot of times kids fall short and they get upset by it. Yeah. I prefer a multi-rep max, looking at, hey, we're going to put this amount of weight on the bar. Let's see how many times you can do it for, can you do it 4 times? Can you do it 5 times? And there's these formulas that these strength guys have put out and people develop, kind of a science behind it to help you look at what your max possibly could be off of that. And I like that a lot better. We do that constantly through the year. About every 4 weeks, we do what we call a check set. And so we'll put, 88% of what your max was, or 90% of what your max was, 84. And I'll say, all right, let's do it for do as many reps as you can at the end of the workout. And then I'll put it in like, all right, your max probably went up 10 pounds. And I like doing that more because the kid knows he can get that weight. The kid, now he's fighting himself for reps. Can I get it 5 times? I can get it 5 times. Maybe I can get it 6 times. It's more of a challenge to themselves. Like last time we did this, I did it 5. Now I got to get it 6. So the mentality there is a lot better for what I like to do. But the kids like the 1 rep max. You probably all saw the video, Shay squatting 500, man.
Yes.
And that's what the kids like doing it, so I like doing it that way because I like the culture inside the room. Those kids excited, celebrating their teammate. That's why I like the 1 rep max. That's the only thing I like about it, is just the culture and the electricity in the room.
What's the record right now?
575 is the record for Eldon that I know of. Jacob Squires, I think is his name. I didn't coach him long before me.
Safety issues and stuff like that. Last thing we want is anybody to get hurt during Summer Pride. What's some of the ways you try to prevent that?
We make sure we understand the form of it. I harp on the form. If you go back and watch the video, Shay did lose his knees a little bit, but he popped them back out and got back up through it. You could also see Colin behind him spotting. You saw his hands in front of his chest. We make sure we have a good spot. So the spotter's right there behind him. Now it's 2 people squatting up and we have somebody on each side. We just make sure everybody knows how to spot and everybody's actively spotting. You're in there counting reps, you're doing things. Even on our bench, our hands are close, they're not touching the bar, they're ready to go in case an elbow flies out or it's not going up the right way, they're there to grab it. So we really harp on making sure you got your buddy's back, because that's weight on you and that's can be dangerous, and you got to learn how to fail correctly also. Like, hey, I'm going down a squat. I can't fall forward. I can't fall back. I just need to go down and let my buddies help me straight up. Because when you start going forward or backwards, that weight gets out of alignment and things get dangerous.
Is there anything you did different this year versus in the previous years?
We kind of cut our volume in June and went to we didn't do as many lifts in June. We got really good at the basics and really strong at the basics. body movements and stuff like that. And we started doing that really went to that formula in January.
Right.
And then we just kind of put a little more weight on it this June. And then we went to a lot more volume in July to make sure our bodies had some endurance. And that's the first time we've done that. So
we got a bigger year, or not a bigger year, but we got a big year coming up. We're moving back down to 4A. The last time we was in 4A, it wasn't the best. Now we're coming off a hell of a season in 5A,
right.
And we're moving to 4A. The expectations for the Owls is always, state championship. Has there been anything different, strategy-wise, training-wise, moving into 4A versus 5A?
No, it's still football.
Right.
It's still football. There's still good teams. There's still fast teams. There's still competition. I mean, Everett Scholar going to 4A. 4A is good.
Yeah.
4A is good. There's still Tuttle. There's still Blanchard. There's still Elk City. There's still Clinton. There's still Weatherford. There's still really good teams and traditionally good teams. You know? And you got Wagner and Cushing on the other side of the state. It's no cakewalk. Just because we were in 5A doesn't mean it's handed to us. It's time to do work, And we still feel that way. You have to show up and put in the work, and the kids know that. And they've been working hard this summer. Coaches have been working hard. It's been a grind, but it's been fun. It's been fun of watching the excitement, watching the kids getting bigger, stronger, faster. But no, there's no difference in it. It's just time to go. We'll see a little bit different style of football in 4A. Playing Clinton and those guys than playing Lawton Mac in district game or Midwest City. They have a different style of play, but. Yeah. That's just game-to-game stuff. But as far as the work, the Owls work a certain way. We have a standard, no matter what class we're in, and we're going to live to our standard.
Well, that's what I was going to bring that up. So, like in the past, I look at it when we do our middle school games. Talking about defensive wise, and you and Coach Baker, well, they usually do this. So you kind of have a sense of what each team's going to do. Mm-hmm. Does that affect anything now? Because it's a new team. Or y'all haven't played these teams in a while. So is that going to be different planning wise?
Not necessarily. Coach Baker's going to have everything, what he wants us all to break down, what we want to look at. It's, just more film study, getting used to those opponents, trying to figure it out. We've been doing, kind of been looking to see what people did in past years, kind of getting back familiar with teams. But no, Coach Baker's going to have the defensive staff ready. Coach Castro's going to have the offensive staff ready to get that mentality right, and we're all going to work together, that type of thing,
We got a new coach this year, Coach Parks. You want to touch on him a little bit? Man,
I love Coach Park. It's been great. His excitement, his knowledge in the weight room, his just all-around demeanor with the kids, he's exciting. He makes the kids want to be better, makes them want to work. He's a great addition to the staff. This summer he's been basically my right-hand man, and that's been cool. A lot of days he's more excited about the weight room than I am, and that's I love the weight room. Sometimes I'm like, dang, I need to be more like Coach Park because I'm just dragging. Because you will never see him dragging, ever. He has so much energy and so much fun to be around.
Yeah, and the kids see it too. The kids see it definitely.
Oh yeah, he's going to hold them to a standard, and they know it, and so they live to it.
Another thing we got to look for as far as planning, I'm assuming, is the long distance games. You know what I mean? How does that affect a week? And you drive a bus too, so
yeah. It's just one of those things. You have to make sure that the kids are mentally ready for it, preparation wise. The scheme's going to be the scheme, the work's going to be the work. The kids just have to know that we got to get on a bus and we got to get out there and get stretched out and warmed up and make sure their bodies are ready for it. It's not going to change much. It's just going to be one of those things you got to do. Sometimes you don't want to clean the house or do the dishes, but you just got to get them done. That's one of the things we got to do. We just got to drive up there.
Our longest game is what? Our farthest game?
Well,
Woodward. And that's about 2 hours and about 40 minutes.
Gotcha.
Can you talk a little more about Coach Parks, what he's coaching this year?
Coach Park is coming from Watonga. He was the DC up there. He was here in 2020 when we weren't, he was helping out here, and then he went up there and took a job in his hometown, and he came back. So he's going to be coaching D-line for us, going to be helping me with the weights. He's going to be I don't know what he's teaching, but he loves the weight room just like I do, and he's a good addition. But he's going to have that D-line with some excitement, some energy, just being Coach Park. He's really good at that, He's a really good football coach. I'm excited for him and Coach Breeze to be here. You know, we had Coach Breeze this year too, also.
Yeah, let's back up and talk more about Coach Breeze too. So Coach Breeze,
he's coaching the receivers this year. Yeah, so we added a defense and offensive coach this year.
So Coach Breeze is coming from Lawton High, correct?
Yeah, he was the head coach over there at Lawton High, and we're lucky that we got to hire him. He's a good football coach. A lot of years of experience, a lot of football coached. He's been fun, you know. He's been fun. He's excited to be here. He's coaching with a lot of enthusiasm, so it's been fun, you know. He gets I give him a station every day in Summer Pride. He takes pride in that station. He's loud. He's exciting. You know, not loud to be loud. He's just exciting. You know.
Yeah, Coach Breeze. I kind of feel like he's been here forever.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wasn't even thinking about him a while ago when I was talking about Coach Parks. I'm glad you brought that up. I kind of feel like he's been here for a while.
He's been here. He's been around since the spring. You know, coming and doing things, and it's been good. He was here during spring ball. He did that. Went to Carl Albert with us. His knowledge of the game is going to help a lot. You know, I don't remember how many years he's got in, but he's probably one of the older. And he's not an old person. He just we're a young staff still. You know, We've been together 5 years. Some of us. I've been here. This will be my 5th year. Coach Wyatt, Coach Castro have been here 6. You know, we've been here for a little bit together now, and we've still got to realize we're a pretty young staff, and that's what's been fun. So adding his years of experience is really helpful to us.
Well, you know, one thing, since you brought it up, I'm going to transfer to that Carl Albert. How do you think Carl Albert went this year?
Man, it was good. It was good. We had some excitement. We had some things look good. We had some things, you know, we looked at. We had to work on that. So it was a really good experience for us. And it showed us where we were at and where we weren't exactly where we wanted to be on some things. And now we get to go fight for that this summer and make sure we fix those issues.
That's a good part about having Carl Albert. When we do having Carl Albert for you, I'm assuming is it kind of gives y'all a bump on like what you need to work on as well, correct?
Right.
While we're doing Summer Pride off summer, y'all also do 7 on 7.
Yes.
As far as training wise, how do y'all fit that into the training schedule?
I don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's like, listen, I'm not going to take a rep off, a pound off because we're going out there and playing catch. And that's me being the defensive coach, linebacker coach. So, I mean, we lose 7 on 7, we lose 7 on 7 because we're sore, because we're tired. Well, you know what? We're going to win in August. We're going to win in September. We're going to win then because we're making sure our bodies are ready for that full contact. Now, that first day out, that first 7 on 7, we were slow because we were sore, and that happened. But by the end of June, our kids didn't notice the difference. They were so bodies were used to it, running around. They were still doing everything right. So, yeah, I'm probably not the best on that. I want to win full contact football.
Yeah.
I don't worry about 7 on 7.
I got you. I mean, so now, you know, Summer Pride, like we said, tomorrow's the last day of Summer Pride. Now school starts. As far as training goes, is it more maintaining versus games?
The games will slow down. You know, some of our kids from May to now, you know, put 50 pounds on their squat, which is hard. That's, I mean, really 28 workouts or 30, you know, 28 workouts, and they put 50 pounds on. That's working. That's pushing your body, you know. We had a bunch of kids do that. Now we can't push that hard because our body's going to be taking a lot of contact stuff, so we're going to back off a little bit. But I don't want to be the strongest that we are the first season. I want to be the strongest at the end of the season.
Great.
So we'll slow down the progression a little bit. We won't be packing it on so hard, but we still want to gain strength and gain mass throughout the entire season. So I want to be strongest in the state finals, you know, and we'll do that. And, you know, our kids will gain strength the entire time. We'll just slow down the process a little bit and make it a little more comfortable on their bodies because they're starting to take some contact. They're going to be sprinting more. You have to be a little bit careful, pull back on some stuff. And each kid's going to be different. You know, not every kid's going to go in there and do the same exact workouts. Like, hey, he's taking a lot of abuse here. We're going to pull him back and do things like that.
Now, also like moving into school too, I would say you don't have as much rest time between workouts and practice, right? And you got your games. So how does that affect your planning when it comes to injury prevention?
Man, that's a good question.
And plus, and also I wanted to tie in, plus You also got Miss Ashley here to help you out, and you have starting last year. So how does that?
Miss Ashley does a great job for us, making sure our kids are good and ready to go. We work really well together. She'll text me or call me like, hey, so-and-so has, a slight hip, strain or hamstring strain or shoulder's not feeling that. And all right. And I'll say, what's going on? And we talk about what he can and can't do and what movements will help him and getting back healthy. Miss Ashley's never, telling a kid he can't work out, can't do that. She believes in making sure movements happen. Now, she's walked in and said, hey, he can't do any lower body. That means that kid's really hurt, But she makes sure like, hey, he can't squat, so let's move him over into a hip sled or something like that. She knows like he's still got to lift and stuff. And that's really cool because I've been around athletic trainers that are just no movement, but she's like, the kid's got to move. And that's good. She's really good at her job. I give her a hard time because we've known each other forever. People don't realize that. We went to college together.
Oh, wow. Hell, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we went to college. We hung out in college together. Like, we were in the same friend group.
Okay.
And so when I was down in Texas coaching, we needed an athletic trainer. So I called her, see if she wanted to move to Texas. She was going into Cameron at that time to be there. And she said no, but now we get to work together. So, like, we've been friends for a long time. So it's been fun getting to work with her.
We kind of skipped ahead there talking about Miss Ashley, but let's back up a little bit. Since we don't have as much time between, workouts, practice, and then games now, and the games are longer than 7-on-7 is. How does that affect injury prevention?
Man, I got to look at, how much they're running in practice, how much contact we are that week, how much that stuff is, and then we just make sure that we're body prepped. We make sure that our rep count is low or high depending on what that week looks like. And the lifts, we'll change some of the lifts to make sure that we're, not overworking those kids and things like that. And we got to make sure they eat. High school kids, I always talk about it, they eat everything, but they don't always eat the right things.
Yeah.
And so we got to make sure they're pumping water through their bodies and not, stuff like pop and Coke and all that kind of stuff. And there for a long time. When I first took over the weight room, I was buying peanut butter and jelly stuff, and I left it in the locker room so those kids would eat it after to make sure they're fueling their bodies afterwards. Then some of the parents got a hold of it, and they started helping buy that kind of stuff, and that was a big help. And I guess we're going to have a nutrition block corner now that the quarterback club will get for after workouts.
Talk a little bit more about that nutrition bar. How it's going to be set up, and is there individuals running it, or is it just the quarterback club in general?
Man, I have no clue on that. This is what I've been told. I don't know all the details on that one yet. I think it's going to be on Fridays or the weekends. I'm not sure. We'll still have probably peanut butter and jellies around that me and some of the other dads, pay for. But I don't know all the details on that, but I know that's a good thing. Get the kids to snack on.
So we got Miss Ashley here now, right? Mm-hmm. So how much is it a benefit to have her to, instead of making that decision as a coach, like, look, you can play or you can't play, right? That takes a little bit off your shoulders, I would assume.
Yeah, absolutely.
How much does that help out? And plus, on top of that, since we're talking about nutrition, would it be beneficial in the future to have a nutritionist in the school?
Well, as it goes with Miss Ashley, her knowledge and her care for the kids, like, she cares about our kids. So this ain't just a job. She is involved in everything. She's supportive, and so her being here has been great. So knowing, like, when Miss Ashley comes in and says, hey, this kid needs to do this, or this kid can't do this, we trust her enough because she does care. She's not just pulling a kid to pull a kid. So it's easy. It's frustrating as a coach when a kid can't go, but it's not because we're mad at the kid for being hurt. It's like, man, okay, we got to figure something else out. That kid was important, but we always want the best for that kid. So if we got to hold him out for weeks, we're going to hold him out for weeks, just make sure the kid's healthy and good. And it's good to have Miss Ashley there because, I can only do so much with my knowledge, so I don't have near as much knowledge in that injury stuff as Miss Ashley. Kids are not being as hurt as long with Miss Ashley. Like, if someone gets a little injury there, she's getting them rehab, getting them, all that stuff, and they're back faster than if it was just me doing it. So that's really good to be there. And as far as a nutritionist in school, I don't know enough about nutritionists and what they do to actually speak on that. I know I know the nutrition and, like everybody else, how to build muscle and how to eat like an athlete. I know that, but I'm sure someone that's trained in it would know more and be good for us. I don't know. I don't know why having more specialists would be a bad thing.
Right. No, I look at it like even like sports and exercise science, like that degree. So you get a little bit of nutrition, you know what I mean? But it doesn't mean you're an expert at it.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of injury prevention, you know what I mean? You get a little bit of all of that. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It damn sure wasn't hurt anything. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
I'm sure it would benefit. I don't think it would benefit any other one sport more than another either.
No.
I think any sport could benefit from nutrition, just like they would an athletic trainer. I think any sport would benefit from it 100%. Last year, as far as the culture goes, right, it was a win attitude, ass-kicking attitude. What is the culture like this year?
The same.
Amen, right?
The same. Our seniors last year, Matt and Keith, Andre, Trey, I can name them all. They came in, they were fresh when we didn't win a game, and they didn't like that. And they bought into a culture, and they bought into it, and they set a standard. And those rode all the way through. And our juniors bought into this, last year's juniors, that's Colin and Trace and Jace and all them, and Shay, they all bought the same culture. So, we're missing those guys because you always miss your seniors. Like, went to the All-State game and watched them, but it's the same culture, it's the same attitude, it's the same thing. The standard's set. They may raise the standard, but they'll never lower it. So that culture is the same. They still celebrate teammates. You watch our films from last year, the person that celebrated when Richmond scored the most was Matt Lunn.
Right.
And you saw the video on Facebook of Shay squatting. You saw the entire room. You saw Colin grab him and hug him. You saw Ritson come over the bar and pushing and excited and yelling for him. You hear Bryce yelling the entire time. Like, you hear those guys in that video. You see them. It's the same thing. They're celebrating each other's victories, and that's what the culture is celebrate your teammates' victories. Because when you're celebrating your teammates' victories, you're not worried about anything else but winning. Because when your teammate wins, you win.
100%.
And so that's what's really awesome. And that's what I loved about the video. Now, I'm the strength guy, and I love him pushing heavy at the leg, But I love the atmosphere. I love those kids jumping and celebrating and being loud. That's why we do that. And once you start celebrating each other and start enjoying everybody else's victories and that's what you do, then that's when the culture rises. That's when the standard rises.
No, that is the culture. Me and you've talked about it. I brought it up a few times to the middle school kids while you was there. Basically, whatever position you played in 6th grade doesn't mean you're going to play that in 7th grade. Right. Whatever position you played in 7th grade doesn't mean you're going to play that in 8th grade.
Right.
Unfortunately, you can't play the position you want all the time. I mean, really in football, most of the time. You know what I mean? It's
because everybody would be the quarterback.
Yeah, everybody would be the quarterback. Quarterback or the running back.
Yeah.
What's the best way you would say for kids to come in and develop? You know what I mean? Some kids coming in, I just got to be the running back, or I just got to be the quarterback. What would be some ways you would tell that kid, hey, maybe you should prepare to be on the team versus a position?
I mean, basically that, listen, you got to build a relationship with the kid. That way he can trust you, and you have that relationship that he knows that you want the best thing for him, and then what is best for the team. So when you approach him hey man, I know you want to be this position. This is a position that you've always wanted to be, but your body, your speed, and what the team needs is you to go to this position, And once he gets I'm going to celebrate my teammates over celebrating me more, he understands that. Like Kobe Morton played linebacker, tight end for us all the way through. Last year we had some injuries. Hey man, we need you to play guard. Okay. Put 68 on his chest and gotten learned the guard position, pulled and did it. This year he's going back to tight end. You have to be able to make that transition because the team needs it. He didn't start at guard in any game, but he's like, man, I'm number 2. I got to be the backup there because that's what the team needs, And that's what you got to do. You have to instill that culture that these guys have, and you have to build the relationships with those kids that they know that, hey, the team's important and the coach knows what he's doing, and he trusts him that this is what's best for the team, type situation.
Some of the starters right now, Well, actually, I mean, a lot of the starters right now didn't play the position. Always played like Ritson. He didn't start being running back till he was a freshman.
Yeah, we moved in freshman year. Yeah.
And we seen how that turned out.
It turned out pretty good.
Turned out pretty good.
Yeah. Adam Eaton was a running back, then he's a receiver, and now he's a tight end, situation.
He's had a big growth change, right?
Yeah, he's 6'4".
Yeah, he's huge. Can you talk a little bit about the seniors this year?
Man, this group was 8th graders when I moved in, when I took the job here at Elgin. And they're fun. They're a fun group. I enjoyed last year's seniors. A lot of people probably don't know this, but I've moved around a lot in my career. So last year's seniors was the first time that I saw that class go from freshman to graduation. I've never seen a class go all the way through. So now I'm going to see the 8th graders go all the way through. And, that's really neat on my part, and I enjoy it. Our seniors, man, they're fun. They're a fun group. I have a really close relationship with Colin because I'm the linebackers coach and stuff like that. And me and Shay have a good relationship because he goes to shot put and different things like that. The senior class, Jace, he's huge. I don't know if you ever run over there and just don't try to wrestle him.
No.
But our senior class, there's a lot of talent in that group. A lot of things, especially with Ant. Ant moving in is a good addition to that group. I love our seniors. Our seniors are very special to me. I cried last year when our seniors took the field for the last time. I'm gonna cry again this year. I'm a crier. I know I don't look it, but I do. I cry, boy. They're special. They're special. I'm going to miss this group a lot when they go. So I'm going to enjoy the ride this year. I don't know if I enjoyed the ride enough last year with that group of seniors, so I'm going to make sure I do this year.
Yeah, I think after it's all said and done, I think we always look back like, man, I wish I did a little more, and it's going to be like that, I'm sure. What I like about our environment is, the older kids, their willingness to help out the younger kids. I've seen it a lot with my kids or with my son. Dax. The kids. That's the kids he looks up to.
Right.
I mean, how crucial is that to a program?
If your high school, your seniors and your juniors are not looking down and making sure that the junior high games are going good and making sure that the sub-varsity games, the freshmen, the JV are not going good, then there's no culture. There's no team aspect. It's just that's the varsity. Each individual one. It is a program from top to bottom, and they feel that way. If not, you just have individual teams, and then there's no consistency in your program. Now we have, you come out on Tuesday night at a home game, you're going to see 20 to 30 varsity kids standing on the sideline for a 7th grade game. Yeah. Out there yelling and screaming and talking to those kids. It's just what they do. We don't tell them to be there. They just show up because Elgin's on that field and they're there to support Elgin. And so it's really neat to watch that. And, they celebrate those kids, and they're out there coaching too. They ain't afraid, like if someone comes up, hey man, you need to do, all those kids, Jace, Colin, they're out there talking. Now Colin was always yelling at his brother, Brody D, but that's a whole different situation. But it's good. And, youth football, the War Owls or whatever, it's what they're called, right? The War Owls, they started practice last week, and a bunch of those high school kids showed up to those practices to help run drills just to be there for that camp. And, we asked them, hey, if you come out. And a bunch of them did. They showed up out there. I know Braxton was out there, Jace was out there. And that's a big deal too, because now the Little League is seeing their high school players, like they get to watch them on Friday nights, and that's a big deal for them.
That's a really big deal. I think it's a big benefit, to have Coach Rao down there helping out with the youth program. I think it kind of streamlines things a little bit more. What I mean? And Coach Baker's down there helping out this year.
Yes, his boys are getting to play, so Coach Baker's pretty excited about that, and we're all excited for GB, man. He's been around the office, so he's getting to his first year of football. We're all pretty excited about it.
Yeah. Oh, and the youngest Meyer is playing too. He's in the 1st and 2nd grade team. So both the Myers boys was out there helping out too. So that's pretty neat.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Football is definitely part of the culture here.
And that's I'm a little bit biased, but I feel like that's how it should be in any town in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Football should be part of the culture. I mean, we're in the South.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Football country. I love it.
Well, Coach Hill, that is all I had. You want to say any final words?
Man, I just appreciate you being here all summer long, helping out with that junior high. It's been a good trip, and I appreciate, all the coaches that came out, and, we love being here, love you being here, and it's just been a fun ride this summer. Been a grind. Now it's time to go to work. Time to do our thing.
Amen.